What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jay here, back at it again with another video. You know, as of right now, I'm just kind of venting, going off the top of the mind, freestyling, some serious discussions and serious topics that I feel is, you know, imperative to be, you know, spoken to power and spoken to truth. I mean, we live in a digitalized society now where, you can get your voice across through the via internet or social media. All it takes is one reblog, one repost, one share, and it can reach masses and masses and masses. It's like a ripple effect. So I was compelled to do this, and I'm gonna continue to do it, until I no longer can. And look no further. I think we're gonna dive into the topic. And the discussion today is gatekeeping. If you're not familiar with the term gatekeeping, it's essentially just that. It's a way to prevent certain things, elements, or persons from entering into a certain fashion of society or thing. For example, if you put a fence around a farm, you're gatekeeping and preventing certain elements from getting in, and you're keeping the ones who are already inside. So that's essentially what gatekeeping is. And that ties into what is currently happening in this country, in America, and globally as well. But I can only really speak on America, where black people are being gatekept from the dominant society, the powers of the institutions of power that yield power. For example, law, medicine, finance, housing. We are being gatekept. Economics. And the way they do this is by strategically setting up these institutions in a way that prevents us or you from getting in, and keeps a smooth route in for them to get in. For example, I'm an aspiring attorney, defense attorney, because I don't have much respect for prosecutors, if I'm being completely honest, based upon my observations and experiences in life, and just seeing how they operate and conduct themselves, and how they selectively prosecute people. When you selectively prosecute people and turn a blind eye to another person, you're not really about the law. You have a certain motive where you want to harm certain people and, give the benefit of the doubt to others. That's not, that's lawless, if you ask me. That's not, abiding by the laws, something that you swear an oath to. You're failing your job, in fact, if you're doing things like that. But yeah, so in my field, of law, here's a book that I've been utilizing, a couple books. There's a thing called, in order to get into law school, right, you have to take the LSAT, which is an examination, which is a barrier for many people like myself and, others who don't have the, necessary resources to, just sit around and study all day, paying thousands of dollars an hour for private tutors or private courses. But the LSAT is how you get into law school. And from law school, you go on to take the bar exam. And then when you take the bar exam, when you pass that, you're eligible to, you can become sworn in to become a practicing attorney with the American Bar Association. Without that process, with the exception of some states like California, where you don't even have to go to law school, which is strange, but you don't have to go to law school. You just take something called the baby bar, and if you pass it, you can be a practicing attorney. But that doesn't reflect the overwhelming majority of the country. The typical route is the standard route. You go to undergrad, you graduate from undergrad, you take the LSAT, you get in law school. In law school, you pass, and if it's an ABA accredited law school, you have the ability to take the bar and practice anywhere throughout the country. But the way they gatekeep is through these little tactics. For example, the LSAT examination. Statistically, blacks on average score 140, early 140s, like 140 through 144, whereas white students score 150s and up. And what this does is, so this is what's going to qualify you from getting into law school or not. The overwhelming majority of law schools are accepting scores within that 150 and up range. Do you see? So the blacks who are getting the 140s are denied, and the whites who are getting the 150s and up get in. And that's one form of gatekeeping. They say they have that roughly about 5% of African Americans are attorneys. That's both men and women. And I believe that's, even, a manipulated number. I believe it's lower than that, but, we'll take their number, at face value at 5%. 5%, when the overwhelming majority of people who are being selectively prosecuted of crimes are black and poor and don't have adequate, empathetic representation. I mean, it's essentially a system to kind of, again, keep certain people down while other people hold and maintain the power for themselves to protect themselves. And it's absolutely absurd, and it definitely needs to be changed. I know since society's kind of rapidly changing, demographics are changing, it's a new world. The old world order is kind of getting thrown out the window. Still a lot of problems, but it's changing because it has to change. Change is inevitable. But as of now, we're still fighting with the gatekeeping tactics, such as, again, the LSAT examination, where black people are underperforming, and they're the ones grading these exams. And it's a private third party who's grading these exams. So we don't know how it's graded. We don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. We don't know anything. We just know that they're giving black people lower scores and white people higher scores. They have another thing where it's a letter of recommendation. Now, some may ask, how's a letter of recommendation a form of gatekeeping when anyone can just go out and get one? That's not necessarily true. When you come from an affluent family, and you have parents, or uncles or aunts who know people who are in powerful positions, they could easily just go and tap a friend and say, hey, can you write my child this great letter of recommendation to get into this law school? Whereas when you don't come from that, it's rough. You don't have any networks. Your parents don't know anybody. You're kind of just down bad on your hands. So you got to really, come out the mud to try to get this. And that's to say that, if you reach out to professors or other people, they don't have to do anything for you. That's completely up to them. And most of the time they won't. So that's another form of gatekeeping, and there's others, but it's just insane to me, man, how, we're overly populated and represented and behind in the system behind bars, overly charged, aggressively charged and falsely accused, but they're preventing us from being able to defend our own. It's something that needs to change. It's extremely unfortunate, but that's the whole gatekeeping aspect of the law. And you have to pay attention. The people that you're getting. Why do you think 90% of charges and people behind bars end in a plea bargain? That's unconstitutional, if you ask me, because it's essentially the state and the government manipulating defendants from giving up their rights to a fair trial. I mean, not that we had a fair trial to begin with, because we never have a trial by our peers, which is guaranteed by the Constitution. It's typically an all-white jury who doesn't empathize with these defendants, who quite frankly can't empathize with them or sympathize with them. They're just like, oh, they must have did it. The charges are right, they're accurate, and they're wrong, so guilty. But we need more people, black people, to pursue the field of law, because we need to defend our people, because it's a gruesome, aggressive system who's truly harming a lot of our good people, good brothers and sisters. And that's just one industry. That's just one field. I mean, we're being, taken advantage in the medical field. I mean, the financial field, the housing field, housing markets, access to economics. It's a lot. But you guys, we got to be critical, of these things, and we have to question everything they do, because, as long as we've been here, it's been nothing but lies. It's been nothing but propaganda. It's been nothing but manipulation. And, you have to, peep that game in order to, rise above it and defeat it, because it's a system that needs to be defeated at the end of the day. It needs to be defeated. But yeah, so, that's my passion, and I'm never going to stop. I mean, I've been on this law journey for roughly 3 years or so, 3-4 years. I got accepted into a school, a law school down in Louisiana. That's another thing. If you look at something called the 509 reports, it's basically like a stat sheet of all law schools, and it kind of tells you the scores, the average scores, the 25th percentile, 50th percentile, 75th percentile, like the LSAT score, GPA, the demographics of students. And if you really analyze these reports at a lot of these schools, I mean, overwhelming schools are predominantly white institutions, and there's roughly about 6 HBCUs. And in fact, a fun fact is, interesting fact is that HBCUs are producing over 50% of black attorneys. So what's that telling you? I mean, there's only a small minority percent of HBCUs of black schools compared to the massive amounts, roughly about 95% of predominantly white institutions. But the small percentage of black schools are producing the most black attorneys. They're not letting us in. You study the facts, you look at the fact sheets, they're not accepting us, they're denying us because they are preventing us from being in this position of power with the law. So we got to get on this, guys. You know, we got to really peep game. And you know, this is a field that, you know, I'm extremely passionate about, and I'm not ever gonna stop until I get in, you know, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to, you know, have a change and effect on that institution and system of law, because people deserve, you know, adequate, you know, fair representation, but they haven't been getting that for decades out of decades, if not centuries. But yeah, guys, you know, I just wanted to touch up on that. You know, they're gatekeeping us from these positions of power and these institutions of power, man. There's a lot of intelligent people of our community who should and, you know, ought to and deserve to be in these positions, but they're being stripped from the opportunity, they're being denied, and they're being lied to. And we got to do something about it. We have to do something about it, and that's why I'm voicing, you know, these truths to y'all, so, you know, the people can see, you know, and take it, and, you know, and you spill these truths to others, you know, and it becomes a ripple effect. So yeah, guys, that's it for today, man. I hope y'all take note of this, man, and if you dig the content, it's going to be more wisdom, more knowledge, and more insight coming to you. But if you dig it, like, comment, and subscribe, man. We're going to continue this channel. We're going to continue to grow, and, you know, we're going to continue to, you know, expose those lies and prevail with the truth. So that's your boy Jay here. I'm out. Peace.